Hi, everybody. This is David D'Arcangelo, your host tonight. Um, I'm going to just introduce Jim Poole. Jim is the CEO of Solace Life Sciences, which is the owner of NuCalm. Jim, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me. Welcome, everybody.
I've known Jim for about 2 years now. I've been very close and working together with NuCalm. It's an exciting program and company. It's the benefits are absolutely compounding when you do it consistently. So, Jim, I have a question for you. I heard a story in one of the videos that I found deep in the archives, and NuCom's not just a business venture for you, it's personal. What's your story?
Hmm. I met Dr. Blake Holloway in March of 2009. I was on a business trip in Chicago. I had a long discussion with him about some other things. And then I spoke to him again in June. And then we did about 10 weeks of diligence over the phone on a weekly call with our consulting firm. And then in October of 2009, I spent time in Blake's presence. Now, Blake was a naturopath, quantum physicist, neuroscientist, Rhodes Scholar at Oxford, a brilliant human being, and a compassionate healer. And one of the days, I was in a doctor's office with him, and he said, "Jim, can I do a few things on you? Can I do a few tests?" Didn't ask me why. And he did some eye movement stuff and some other things. And then he looked at me and he said, "You have traumatic brain injury." I didn't respond. I didn't respond with
Wow.
kindness. For me, David, I was 40 years old and denial was my strongest medicine. So
Yeah.
he struck a nerve and I barked at him and then I stopped and I reflected and he said, "No, seriously, Jim, you're not going to be able to tie your shoes when you turn 50 years old. I
Wow.
guarantee you that." I said, "Okay." And I took a breath. I said, "Well, Blake, I had 14 hospitalizations from concussion. I grew up, I wrestled for 20 years. I did martial arts for 20 years. I played football. I probably was knocked unconscious more than 30 times without going to the hospital. So intuitively, David, it made sense that I probably have some structural, physiological challenges in my brain." That was all that was said. And then 2 days later, he was dropping me off at the airport, and we had done a lot of diligence on the science, on the invention, on the history, on the logic path, and very complex science. And we kind of were like, we're heading towards some type of relationship. It wasn't clear yet. He got out of the car and he looked at me and said, "Jim, I'd like to make an agreement with you, a gentleman's agreement." I said, "Okay." And he said, "I'm going to keep you healthy if you make me wealthy." And there you go. That was the genesis of our relationship. And wouldn't you know it, I'm 57 years old and I can tie my shoes. I'm 57 and my brain's never been more sharp. My memory, my clarity, my endurance, my mental endurance, my capacity to multitask. And I fear where I would be if I was on the same trajectory that I was at 40 years old. I was coming out of being a private equity Wall Street banker. I had a very high level of stress, a lot of control matrix in my brain, a lot of things I felt I needed to control, a lot of travel. I worked hard, I partied hard. I wouldn't say I was on the fast track to expiring, but I wasn't in a place of health and balance and wellness. So I thank Dr. Holloway's invention for not only helping me in a mission, a purpose, and a sense of passion for helping humanity, but certainly has changed my life in many, many ways and everybody around me's life. So
Right. Jim, what's the breakthrough that created NuCom?
in 1990, Dr. Holloway went on a quest to solve a problem. And the problem was high frequency hypervigilance as a result of complex trauma and trauma. All of us know somebody with complex trauma and trauma. In their presence, you feel uneasy because they're uneasy. They're uneasy because the brain physiology has changed. The blood flow to the hippocampus has shrunken. The blood flow to the frontal lobe has shrunken. Their amygdala is fully inflamed and activated, and they're in a constant state of fight or flight. Their frequency is at 25, 26, 27, 28 hertz all the time. So it's no wonder they're distracted, agitated, confused. Blake had a clinical practice in Texas. He served thousands and thousands of people. And he said, I refuse to follow conventional medicine. I refuse to give to a patient who's suffering and who needs my help. I refuse to give them a pharmaceutical intervention or narcotic-based benzodiazepine that will suppress their nervous system, but it won't solve the problem. I refuse to engage in cognitive behavioral therapy to a scared brain who's not even in a place of safety. I'm not going to do it. So in 1990, he went on a quest, David, to figure out a way. How can I safely, predictably, and reliably put the complex trauma and trauma brain into a state of healing? And this is where his genius really shines, because even his hypothesis is next generation, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years in the future. His hypothesis was if 4 hertz to 7 hertz is the healing zone associated with theta, and in that state, in that frequency, your cells clean their toxins and your mitochondria is restored. That's why it's called the healing zone. If that's the state and that's the brainwave, how can I, and what's going to take for me to take your brain, my brain, and their brain to 4 hertz and allow the body to do its job, which is to heal? So that was kind of the genesis. This was always derived to solve complex trauma, trauma and addiction, which for anyone studied in the arts of psychology, psychiatry, mental health knows it's one of the most difficult profiles to live with, and often ends with people taking their life unceremoniously, not because they're cowards, not because they're weak. They simply get tired of living like that and they don't know what to do.
Right. Right. Who thought up of using NuCalm in surgeries? You've done 2.7 million surgeries, NuCalm has been, and there's a couple of follow-up questions for that, but how did that happen and how does it work?
Blake had an idea. He had an invention. He had 19 years of working clinically with the invention. But he was a neuroscientist with Asperger's. He wasn't bringing anything to the world. Fortunately for him and for all of us, I had run DenMat. I had managed the largest private equity acquisition in the history of the dental industry, so a $300 million plus acquisition of a company in Santa Maria, California. So I had just run that company, and I had access to the best oral maxillofacial surgeons, implant surgeons, International Congress of Craniomandibular Orthopedics, Las Vegas Institute of Neuromuscular Dentistry. I knew everybody. And one thing that we knew intuitively was we can study long-term longitudinal impact on complex trauma, but that's not easy. It's not easy to show quantitatively the gains. It's not easy to wait out a year, 2 years to see the impact you're having. However, David, 60 million Americans out of 338 million Americans don't go to the dentist strictly out of fear. 60 million people of all walks of life. Now, it makes intuitive sense. Your central nervous system has one primary function: self-preservation and survival. Lying on your back, opening your mouth, and having a stranger put instruments in your mouth elicits an acute stress response. So this is more logic and opportunity and kind of a coincidence or synchronicity. So on November 5th, 2009, Credit Suisse owned the Hard Rock Hotel in Las Vegas. So I held court there and I welcomed 12 of the best dentists in the world from all various modalities. And I presented to them an egregious 149 slide deck on complex neuroscience, the physiology of stress, and how NuCalm worked. I'm pretty sure they didn't understand any of what I presented. And then they tried NuCalm. So get this. There's 12 distinct gentlemen. I had them in the room one at a time. And then I put them to sleep in my bed. This is a really strange experience for everybody. But to a person, first of all, they trusted me because I had already led companies that they were on boards with me on. But they were so intrigued and so excited to try a natural method to remediate the stress response. So in November of 2009, we did our first surgical procedure, oral maxillofacial surgery, and we basically took care of a patient, No oral conscious sedation, no IV sedation, no nitrous oxide, no anxiolytic, no way to relax the central nervous system. We put them on NuCalm with a headphone. Back then it was a lot of components. About 6 minutes later, the doctor came in and operated on the patient. That was the beginning, the first surgery. From there, 2009 and 2010, we trained over 100 leading oral maxillofacial surgeons and periodontal surgeons, and also the Las Vegas Institute for Neuromuscular Dentistry doing complex extraction, immediate load implants. I mean, this is barbaric work. Anybody in dentistry or witnessing dentistry, the torque and the physics involved in extracting teeth and roots from your skull is barbaric. It's crazy to
Wow.
watch. And these people are literally in a state of theta with most of the time no even local anesthetic, but certainly no general anesthesia whatsoever. So there's no suppression of the central nervous system. There's no risk. There's no challenge to lucidity when you're done with the procedure. So that is where we started. And that was really the window to everything that we've done since, because guess who goes in for surgeries? Humans. And guess who humans are? Maybe they're pilots, maybe they're professional athletes, maybe they're the DOD, maybe they're law enforcement, maybe they're university professors. So it was fascinating for us. It was a twofold opportunity. One, immediate access to a surgical environment for us to collect real-time data, begin the patents, go through the FDA, Health Canada, a lot of hardcore scientific pieces we had to do. But secondarily, an opportunity and a window to begin new vertical dissension. So from there, today even, we probably do 10 to 15 to 20,000 surgeries all over the world. From 7 frontline hospitals in Ukraine to arthroscopic surgery to ablations and cardiovascular, you name it, we do it. This replaces general anesthesia and allows the doctor and the medical staff to work on an organism, a human being, who is not trapped inside their own central nervous system with a suppressant of benzodiazepine. They're actually in a lucid dream state. When we would interview them before surgery, David, it was palpable how fearful they were. You just wanted to give them a hug. Their neck is red. Their saliva is weird. They're talking in gibberish. They're not even speaking in English or linear sentences. Their eyes are darting. You're just like, hey, it's going to be okay. You're going to get through this. After the surgery, they look really relaxed. Their eyes look relaxed. Their facial muscles look relaxed, even if they're gauzed up or there's blood on their chin. And they'd look in the camera and they'd say, I knew you were operating on me. I couldn't find a place to care. So that is the power specifically of 4 Hertz. And for all of you who are using NuCalm today, that's the power of rescue. That was our first and only product for 13 years. Rescue is how we served millions of people all over the world. Rescue, rescue, rescue. Down regulate and slow down your frequency to 4 Hertz and hold you in that state. It's like a hypnagogic dissociative state. It's nonlinear thinking, maybe even associated with REM, and you're just kind of skipping off of sleep. Your body feels completely relaxed. Your breath is slowed down to 1 breath every 10 seconds, and you can do anything in that state.
Jim, you had the $6,000 medical device back in the beginning there, and now does it do the same thing with the app?
It does better,
Yeah. Oh, it
which
does
doesn't
better.
which doesn't make any sense.
Right.
When people look at where we came from and look at the 4 components and look at a stimulation device, they're like, how did you do this? Well, I'm going to explain to you how. The brain communicates in 2 ways: chemical messaging and electrical messaging. Okay. Neurobiofeedback's been around for 100 years. Transcranial direct current stimulation, cranial electrotherapy stimulation for more than 90 years. But you'll be wholly unimpressed with the lack of predictability of any direct stimulation device. Neurobiofeedback can be effective in 1 day and not effective the second day. It can last for 7 hours 1 day and not at all the next day. It's not predictable and reliable across you as a human, and it's certainly not predictable and reliable across the population, which begs the question any logical person should ask: why? Well, there's something called adrenaline, David. And the body and the brain does not want to be invaded. It doesn't want to be managed, manipulated, ever. So what does it do? It knows, and think about this, because we don't think about our subconscious mind enough. Say you have a surgery. It could be as simple as a crown or a dental surgery or an arthroscopic knee surgery. Say it's 2 weeks from now. Today, you're not really thinking about it much. Week of, you start losing sleep. Week of, you start losing appetite. Week of, your central nervous system, which is protecting you and keeping you alive and responsible for self-preservation, is starting to panic. It's starting to create anticipatory anxiety. It's starting to create different bodily functions. You're not even aware of this, but I guarantee the night before surgery, you're not sleeping because of anticipation. Okay? So neurobiofeedback doesn't take into consideration the biochemical messaging of the adrenal cortex. We understood this, David. If we had 4 to 5 minutes to prepare a patient who's in a high state of anxiety to put them in a lucid dream state to operate on them, we don't have a lot of time to waste. We certainly don't have any place for risk. The last thing you want is for someone to get into this anxious state during a surgical procedure. No, thank you. So when we started, David, the method of action of NuCalm has always been the patented neuroacoustic software, has always been the math and the physics and all the algorithms underneath the music. But in 2009, it wasn't good enough. So we brought in chemical messaging. GABA A, gamma aminobutyric acid A and B, L-theanine, K-tryptic hydrolysate, and L-tyrosine. We took a cornucopia of amino acids that we know interrupt what's called the HPA axis and stop your ability to secrete adrenaline. It shuts it down. But supplements are not easy. How do you cross the blood-brain barrier? How do you get maximum absorption in a short amount of time? You don't. It's really difficult, isn't it, David?
Yeah.
So Dr. Holloway, literally 20 years ago, went and moved to Russia. Now, it wasn't literally an easy, safe time for neuroscientists with Asperger's to be living in St. Petersburg, Russia.
Yeah.
But Blake's humility and tenacity to figure things out, what he learned there was cranial electrotherapy stimulation. And this is good for you, David, as an expert in supplementation anyway. Here's what he figured out. If I present the brain with a low-level microcurrent stimulation, I can electrophorate the cell wall membrane and open up the receptor site to GABA A and GABA B. Before this device, he was supersaturating the brain with GABA A and GABA B, but the neurotransmitter panels were coming back that nothing was absorbing. The garage door for the receptor site was down, so you can put all the GABA in your brain you want, but there was no place for it to go. So we introduced cranial electrotherapy stimulation, a low-level microcurrent stimulation you couldn't feel, but what it did was it opened up the garage door. So we needed neuro patches behind the ear right here. You put it on, you couldn't feel it. But this device, which served as a catalyst to ensure that we could stop your ability to secrete adrenaline, was an FDA Class 3 medical device. That anchored us from 2009 to 2020. It was an anchor. It's a heavy anchor. So here we are, 2009 to 2016. In this time period, in the neuroscience realm, we're learning a lot, and we're learning it at a fast pace. So for us, we are adding complexity to the physics underneath the music. And in 2016, we launched NuCalm 2.0. The whole trick to the method of the science is to guide your brain, like grip your brain. David, we want to take you to 4 hertz. We don't want you to be distracted. We don't want you to leave any stone unturned. We want you to go to 4 hertz, and we want you to do it in this guided path. So 2016, we launched NuCalm 2.0. It's about 10 times, 11 times, 12 times stronger than the prior NuCalm. But it still wasn't strong enough for an acutely stressed out pre-operative patient. So we still needed the biochemistry. 2020, things change. We take NuCalm 2.0 and we exponentially strengthen our ability to modulate your frequency with exceptional precision. And in 2021, David, we got rid of the class-free medical device. We took all of our science and said, thank you. We no longer need any chemical messaging help because we have figured this out. So the journey has been innovation, has been trial and error, has been invention, clinical proof, patents, all that work. But today it's hard for people to understand. You're telling me, Mr. Poole, that a mobile app is better, more effective, and stronger than this four-component $6,000 FDA Class 3 medical device. That's exactly what I'm telling you. Because the method of action was always the software.
Jim, everybody out there's listening is, holy cow. I mean, this is mind blowing that I can get this app, download NuCalm with xocialx by NuCalm, and I can look at the 6 programs and change my mental state on command with the power of all the science that you put in here that's going into here
Yeah.
in choose. Mind blowing. It's absolutely phenomenal because and I've said this from the first time we launched and said that we were getting into business with you. And for that, we absolutely have had the greatest ride, the hardest work, and the people out there who are watching, most of them, my hat's off to you. I mean, we've got something really compelling. It's earth-shattering. It can change. It's not just a product. We're changing an industry.
You're changing an industry, David. In fact, I would challenge you. You're changing humanity. And this has been a hard thing for me to grasp. I can't grasp it.
Yeah.
But I suspect generations from now, they'll look back at this seminal moment and say, wow, because humans are creatures of habit. We are slow adopters by nature because of the reticular activating system in our central nervous system. There's methods to the brain's madness, and there's a slow evolutionary process. For example, humans have been around for a long time. 3,500 years ago, meditation was introduced to the human species. 3,500 years ago. Talk about slow adopters. It's pathetic, really. Okay?
Yeah.
So yes, so I look at this and say, okay, the more we go into the science and the social psychology of how humans operate, the more fascinating it gets. And sometimes it seems pedantic and demoralizing. But let me tell you something. Today, 99.9% of humanity don't even think how they regulate their brainwave, their state, their mood, their thoughts, and their behavior. They just do it. They wake up, their brain's a little lethargic, they have coffee. It's not a miracle, David. It modulates and increases the frequency of your brainwave.
Right.
Some people have a tough day. They rely on self-soothing through a glass of beer or a glass of wine. That too is not magic. It slowed down their brainwave frequency.
Right.
If you're feeling anxious, you take an anti-anxiety pill. If you feel depressed, you take an antidepressant. If you have trouble sleeping, you take a sleeping pill. So from hugs, which elicit oxytocin, to alcohol, to CBD, to recreational drugs, to all of this activity, that's how we manage our mood, our thought, and our behavior. But guess what? NuCalm changes all of that. You don't need any of it. We can deliver with precision, tremendous efficacy, and safely. I'll tell you what, David. Do you have a headphone? Yes, I do, Mr. Poole. Do you have a mobile device? Yes, I do. How would you like to feel? You select how you want to feel, and we take you there. So if you think about it in that magnitude, it is so profound what we're doing, and we don't get stuck in it. But it's never really gripped. I have never really found my way to really elucidate and understand the magnitude of what we're doing. I just thank Blake Holloway every day, a man I love and cherished, and the collaborative work we did for years to change humanity. And with never any intention to do that, we just figured something out and then expanded upon the invention.
It really gets me when I look around and xocialx, the team that's on this webinar or watching or considering getting on the team, we have the world's first and only patent balancing and resetting your autonomic nervous system. There is nobody.
No.
It's us, so that your second patent is, which induces a change, allows you to change your mental state on command to any one of those 6 states that you decide what you want. And NuCalm, xocialx by NuCalm, we deliver.
And these patents
It's
aren't to be
amazing.
these patents aren't to be taken lightly. For anybody studying the art of patent law, the onus is on the company to do two things: showcase that it's novel, it's never existed before in humanity, and two, that what you claim happens has quantified, measurable success. So none of this was easy. Balancing and restoring the human autonomic nervous system. Now, the human autonomic nervous system, for those of you who don't remember 10th grade biology, the human autonomic nervous system manages your fight, flight, or freeze, your ability to stay alive in crisis. It manages fear, stress, anxiety, depression, worry, agitation, impatience, distraction. That's a lot of work. But if that wasn't enough work to do, the autonomic nervous system also oversees your involuntary bodily functions, your heart rate, your digestion, your breath. We have the only patent in the world for balancing that aspect of human physiology, but it took us 5 years of significant research with the leading statistical biophysicist at Harvard Medical School, Dr. Chung Kang Pang, his partner, NASA mathematician, Dr. Norton Huang, and we studied stage 4 cancer patients versus the Chicago Blackhawks for 5 years, because you learn the most from the extremes. And our product showed irrefutable quantified evidence that we took a person with metastatic brain cancer towards expiration and a professional athlete, and we took them to the same place in the same time period. The cumulative benefit allowed them to get into that state quicker. We downregulate the sympathetic tone, which is we downregulate your stress response within 5 minutes. And you feel this when you do Rescue VT20. Within 5 minutes, nothing is available in your stress response. Your sympathetic tone is almost nothing. And we raise the parasympathetic nervous system. NuCalm is a facilitator, David. It is not a healer. Your body does that. We just facilitate you by liberating your monkey mind and the chaos between your ears, and we allow the body to get into that state of healing, and your body knows what to do when the monkey mind isn't controlling your behavior.
Jim, tell everybody why it's important to do the stress test and get into in 35 seconds, 1 million biometric data points. It's just amazing. It measures that the autonomic and the nervous system stress.
Well, I think we've seen this zeitgeist shift, and it's nice to see, but we've kind of lost our way a little bit. I like quantified measurement tools. I think they're fantastic as maybe a guide or a place to assist me on where I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't like them as a tool where I've lost my intuition. It's like going to a doctor and say you have cancer and you know how you feel. I always tell patients, trust how you feel. You know you better than anybody knows you. Do not lose sight of your intuition. But people have lost sight of their intuition. So you have Oura Rings and Garmins and Whoops and Fitbits and Apple Watches. So we are learning and we're adjusting and we're leaning into quantified measurement tools without really understanding that they're not that quantified. It is physiologically impossible, in fact, illogical to think you can get accurate heart rate variability from a ring on your finger. It's so nonsensical, it's ridiculous. You need millions of data points from an ECG on your heart to get accurate HRV, but that's a different discussion. The voice tool simply creates the highest level of medical grade sensitivity and accurate measurement of your nervous system. In 35 seconds, you are correct. We can capture more than 1 million data points from your voice. We're specifically targeting 10,000 biometrics. But here's what's fascinating about your voice. You can't tell a lie. Someone asked me, who's really smart, hey Jim, can I trick this? I said, well, you could if you knew the 10,000 data points we were measuring, but I'm pretty sure you don't. Now here's why. The autonomic nervous system is managed by the vagus nerve, the longest nerve in the body. Innervates the brainstem and goes through your visceral organs. The autonomic nervous system contains the sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve fibers. Great. Well, guess what? Your autonomic nervous system speaks the truth of your nervous system. Okay. Well, your voice box is connected to the autonomic nervous system and the vagus nerve through the laryngeal nerve. They're literally connected. That's how your voice expresses with incredible accuracy a window into your stress. So if you want to know, I can look at heart rate. I can look at my LDL and HDL. I can look at my pulse ox. I can look at a bunch of measurement tools, but I got to collate them all into a story that maybe makes sense. I don't need any of that. My longevity, resilience, and ability to fight off disease, to stay emotionally present, mentally endurance, and just physically well is my nervous system. Ladies and gentlemen, all health, resilience, and longevity begins with your nervous system. So let me go right to the source in 35 seconds, speaking to the phone. It is important that it's quiet around you. We are so kind of gung-ho on accuracy and medical grade sensitivity. There's no filters in the microphone capture. So in a quiet environment, you speak extemporaneously for 35 seconds. You don't read, because when you read, you disengage your autonomic nervous system. You don't think about something emotional. Obviously, your sympathetic tone is going to go up. So you literally describe your environment in great detail. 35 seconds. We evaluate 1,000,000 data points and come back to you with a coherence score from 0 to 100. And that
Wow.
level of specificity is
Wow.
incredible. And here's what you're going to see. Number one, I think walking on the beach helps me relax. Great. Do it before and after. I think doing breath work in the yard helps me with my nervous system. Great. Do it before and after. I think swimming in the pool. I don't care what it is that you do it. Or if you really want to get specific, do 35-second voice capture, see your score, go to a 20-minute rescue VT, the only patented technology clinically proven to balance your nervous system, and watch your score rise. But more importantly, and David, you alluded to this earlier, there's a cumulative benefit to NuCalm. 2 reasons. Number one, it's like a tuning fork. Everything we do is resonance, frequency, and biomodulation. It is a tuning fork. So the more the tuning fork gets into me and my psyche, my brain, my nervous system, the more I'm actually learning how to take care of myself. So there's a cumulative benefit, which means today, David, I just flew to Singapore, came back, flew to Santa Barbara, came back. I'm home a couple days a month if I'm lucky. I can't get under a 90 because for 17 years I've balanced my nervous system.
Right.
Even in the highest state of crisis or conflict management or my worst day on earth, you're never going to see me off kilter and you're never going to see me go under 90. That's just the way it is because of the cumulative benefits. So if you guys want accuracy, if you want to know insights, because David may or may not share this with you, but we work with really, really highly discerning audiences. When we launched the voice assessment tool after 10 years of research with a leading physicist, immediately I called the head of the
Wait a
FBI.
second. You spent 10 years to develop that stress test,
10
and
years.
it goes on, and then you put it on the front of their app at the bottom, and it's free with your membership.
Correct.
Beautiful.
10
Yeah.
years. Why? We want to help humanity. If we see shifts in the zeitgeist, a mobile app, we could be billionaires selling a $6,000 FDA Class A medical device. We didn't need to do this. We didn't just spend 6 years and $14 million trying to figure out how to get all of that into this. But as soon as we launched this on July 9th, I called the head of the FBI hostage rescue team, the commanding officer of the elite extraction and termination team in the world. And I said, Brian, we figured it out. They've been looking for tools to evaluate the mission readiness of their operators. Guess what they do now? Before mission, give me your 35 seconds. Show me your score. You're not ready. Go do a rescue VT. That's how powerful this is.
Right.
So absolutely, if you use a Garmin, a Fitbit, an Aura, first of all, I'd recommend that you don't, because the accelerometers are pushing bad information through your bloodstream every 4 seconds. It's just not necessary. It will compromise your DNA structure at some point. I wear nothing. First of all, I trust my intuition. If I didn't sleep well, I don't need an Aura ring to tell me I didn't sleep well. In fact, I used to find that demoralizing. I said, I don't need reinforcement. I didn't sleep well. I didn't sleep well. But this tool is so easy, and it really closes the loop, David. How am I doing? Right here. Here's my accurate score. How am I going to improve that? Do rescue.
Right. I think what it does, doesn't it tell you what to do? It says it gives you like a NuCalm prescription of do rescue for 30 minutes and do power nap later or whatever to get your score and then retest, get your score.
Correct.
It's yeah, it's definitely amazing. Hey, let me ask you something. You have something called the Seven Chakras. It's a rescue, it's the name of a rescue track.
Yeah.
Can you just explain that to us from the way you explained it to me when I asked you about it? We have some people asking and thinking it's, it's maybe, religious, related, but give me the response you gave me and for everybody here.
Religion has nothing to do with who we are. We're a neuroscience company. Neuroscience, the study of the nervous system. Nothing to do with religion. Nothing to do with gender. Nothing to do with culture. Nothing to do with language. We're a frequency company. Bioresonance frequency modulation. So in the literature, scientific literature, it is known that the seven chakras have a commensurate solfeggio scale frequency. 396 hertz is the root chakra. It took us more than 6 years to create the ability for us to move through the resonance like a tuning fork. While we're modulating your brainwave frequency, we're tuning up 396 root chakra. We're tuning up 963 crown chakra. We're tuning up 528 heart chakra. You get the point.
Yeah.
So we launched this in June of 2022. 6 years of work. You never know. We never know if we can accomplish what we want to accomplish. It took
Right.
us 9 years to take a Rescue 30 and truncate it to Rescue 20. But it is an exceptionally popular track, and it's strange because no one's ever in tune through the seven chakras from the root to the crown, 396 hertz to 963. You're not. And you'll feel it in the experience. We have 4 tracks in the 252 hours of neuroacoustic software on the app that are seven chakras, and they're some of our most popular tracks. This has got nothing to do with religion. That's
Yeah.
I have not heard that. We've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
I've not heard that, and I wouldn't really even know how to talk about that. Besides, we're a science company, and frequency is frequency, and we stay in our lane, and we're really good at it.
Why headphones in the mask?
Your brain, we've already established, doesn't want to be managed. Your brain is so smart. Your brain's a lot smarter than you think it is. Your brain controls a lot more behavior than you think you control. For any of you on this call that think you're in this command control matrix, you're wrong. The neuronal circuitry of your brain is millions of years old. It's got such a head start. It knows how to manipulate. It never wants to be managed, ever, from anything. A supplement, a surgery, an incision, nothing. We use 2 delivery mechanisms to present your brain with precise signals, okay? The first is called binaural signal processing. Now, many of you have heard the term binaural beat. Binaural beat was discovered in 1839 by a German physicist. I have no idea how he figured this out, but it's fascinating. And it illustrates the compensatory mechanism of the human brain. You know, when you do anything to your body, your brain compensates because it doesn't want anything done to it. It
Right.
believes you have a perfect blueprint of perfect health and you have a perfect ecosystem, a closed loop system. Leave me alone. So binaural beat uses trickery. So if we want to present your brain with say 4 hertz, which is rescue, and it's theta and it's healing, and it's really hard to get there unless you're in sleep. If we want to do this, then we're going to use binaural signal processing as a delivery. We could present 510 hertz in your left ear and 506 hertz in your right ear. When the brain receives a signal, it's dissonant. So what's the brain do? It subtracts the difference and you're left with 4 hertz. Fascinating.
Wow.
That is one of the delivery mechanisms of NuCalm. The second way to present precise signals to the brain is called isochronic waveform, where we imprint the signals into ambient music. Before Blake passed away in 2020, I said, Blake, I want you to take our entire catalog, all the physics platforms, everything we've ever created, and I want you to deliver everything in both modalities. I want isochronic waveform and I want binaural signal processing. Why? I can't come to your home and implore you to wear headphones. But if it's on in any capacity, it's going to have an impact. So when you put headphones on, you literally have no escape route because you don't hear what we're doing. You cannot hear the inaudible physics and mathematics platform underneath the software. It is inaudible to the human ear. You hear music, which is beautiful, and it's perfectly composed by some of the best musicians, producers, and engineers in the world. We build incredible products, and it takes us more than a year to build a single track, David. People are like, wow, why does it take so long? This is science. This isn't entertainment. We start with a mathematical matrix. For example, Rescue 20 VT. It's all math. At minute 0, you're at 15 hertz, and maybe the pitch is 161.2. Then in the first few seconds, we take you down, maybe to 11 hertz, and pitch is 151. Then we take you back up, then we take you back down, then we take you back up, then we take you back down. The first 4 minutes of rescue, any rescue track, we call the departure lounge. We're literally seeking permission from your central nervous system to relinquish control, to trust us, to trust us. It takes us 4 minutes to do that. And then at minute 4, if you're paying attention, and many of us aren't because we're so exhausted, we just fall into this zone. But at minute 4, you'll notice it's like an elevator. You start falling into your bed and your respiration slows down. You are now slipping into theta, just above sleep, in that lucid dream state. You can't stay linear in your thoughts. Your breath slows down to 1 breath every 10 seconds. You're in the healing zone. So this matrix is the math. I present the matrix to our engineers, our producers, and our musicians. And I say, make me something really strong and powerful for stage 4 cancer and make it in 120 minutes. They have to literally create the sound design on top of the math. And they know, do not interfere with what we're trying to accomplish. Do not put any frequencies in there that will interfere with the distribution of the precision of these signals. So these tracks are gifts to humanity. When you listen to them with a headphone, you'll hear the level of complexity. There's one track, Rescue 50 Volume 2, that has 54 overlays. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So the specificity of NuCalm and the meticulous design isn't because we're perfectionists, isn't because we're slow and we want to take all this time. It's because the brain has so much complexity to it, and the reticular activating system of the human brain is the most incredible pattern recognition machine of all time. Still better than AI, and AI is pretty incredible.
Right.
Pattern recognition, and once it finds a pattern, it finds shortcuts. People say to me, Jim, why would I buy your product, $6,000 medical device, if I can get a 99-cent binaural beat app off of, YouTube? And I usually answer with tongue-in-cheek logic. So binaural beat, I start with a logical question. David, do you possibly think that perhaps, just maybe, a $6,000 FDA Class 3 regulated medical device may be different than a 99-cent app? Maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
Do
Yes.
you think that we would do surgery, 2,700,000 surgeries around the world, if this were a binaural beat for 99 cents on YouTube? So it defies logic.
Right.
No shame, no blame. But let me tell you something. Binaural beat is a delivery mechanism. A delivery mechanism. For example, if I order a pizza, and I love pizza, I can't really digest it anymore. I shouldn't eat it, but I love pizza. If I were to order a pizza, when the pizza delivery boy shows up, I don't eat the pizza delivery boy. I don't eat the delivery mechanism. I eat the pizza. So what's on the pizza? This is what took Dr. Holloway 19 years to figure out. It wasn't that we could present signals using binaural signal processing. That's easy. What signals are you presenting? Because if you don't trick the reticular activating system, the most impressive pattern recognition machine ever, you lose. And
So you're saying that a lot of the competition out there is the binaural beats, and you need to go much deeper than that.
all of it,
Yeah.
every single one of them, HoloSync, the Monroe Institute, the David System, the Silver System, every single one of those. The Monroe Institute, he's an ad executive. He's not a neuroscientist. He wouldn't even know where to begin in trying to trick the reticular activating system. And everybody on this call knows this. If you've listened to any of those elements for years, you'll notice this. The first time you listen to it, it's amazing. The second time you listen to it, it's really, really good. The third time you listen to it, it's pretty good. And the fourth time you listen to it, nothing happens because the complexity of the signal is static. For example, hey, I'm going to help you with focus. We'll put you at 15 hertz, even though the specific frequency is 18.4 hertz. But they probably don't know that. Put you at 15 hertz, but it's a static beat. Not going to work. So this isn't me, biased CEO of NuCalm. This is me knowing the landscape, being a leader of a 36-year-old neuroscience company with the only patent in the world for method used to elicit a state change in a human brain. Now, how did we get that? Because Blake's genius was in creating a non-linear oscillating algorithm. And it's right there. This is public domain. This is public knowledge. August of 2021, David, we showcased, we opened up our robe and said, here is how we did this, ladies and gentlemen. But David, there's something I know that the world doesn't. Blake was a genius amongst geniuses. He was smarter collectively than our 52-member medical advisory board. He was a freak of intellectual capacity, and it took him 19 years to figure this out. So a nonlinear oscillating algorithm goes like this. You will never figure out the pattern of NuCalm because it never stops moving. Now, how does that experience affect you? When you use rescue, you will notice even the best intention of going in and thinking through a problem, you don't remember what the problem was because you can't have a linear thought pattern in a nonlinear oscillating algorithm. And our goal, and this is hard for people to understand, our goal with rescue is not to entertain you. It's not to grip you. Our goal is to disengage your locus of control. You will notice the complexities of music. As soon as you start connecting to a rhythm or a melody, it shifts. Everything we're doing is to trick your brain at all times. It's basically disorganized chaos to help you separate your monkey mind and allow your body to heal. So we're light years beyond any of that stuff out there. And I can tell you, 17 years running this business, 17 years educating doctors all over the world, 17 years doing all the research. There's nothing even remotely close to what we do. And I don't believe anyone's going to start today and spend 36 years figuring this out. It's not going to happen.
So what you're saying is there's nobody even close at this point to the NuCalm.
What I'm saying is that the United States government has done a full vet of NuCalm, and we have sole source providership to the federal government, which means they have vetted this product and determined that we have zero competition and there's no need to find a competitive bid because it doesn't exist. So yes, we have stood alone as pioneers in applied neuropsychobiology for decades.
Right. Yeah. Can you give just as we're winding down here, can you give people your day with NuCalm in terms of using the app? What do you use in the morning, in the afternoon, and whatever at night?
I can tell you this, I've had an evolution in my consciousness. I have become so elevated in my consciousness that with great confidence I can tell you that I think like a monk and act like a capitalist. The juxtaposition is so profound, and I hope that everybody gets to live like this. And it's not by design. I'm not a meditator. I'm not a yogi. I'm not Tai Chi. I have a black belt in Taekwondo and Gojo Ryu. I'm not going to engage in slow hand movement waveforms. It's just not who I am. I am incapable of meditating. I know this for 20 years of doing martial arts. I had a panic attack after every session because I can't meditate. But every time you do rescue, the beauty of rescue is oxygenating your prefrontal and frontal cortex. The beauty and physiological benefit of meditation, yoga, tai chi, and breath work is oxygenating your prefrontal and frontal cortex. You see, your forehead, David, is who you are. This is your character, your personality. It's your executive functioning. It's your logic. It's your decision-making, your emotional health. This area of our brain separates us from primates. When the amygdala, the fear center, activates, it sucks oxygen from here. We become reactive, distracted, fearful. But when oxygen is here, you are present. So every day for 17 years, every day. Today I did it twice, I'm not going to lie. I did it at 2 o'clock, a Rescue 20 VT, and then at 7:45, I did a 20-minute power nap because I wanted to be engaged with you guys. I've been up since 5. It's been a long day, okay? So on a daily basis, my modus operandi is survival. I'm 57 years old. I've been on this mission for 17 years. 17 years. Every day. David knows me. I travel 250 to 300 days a year. I run a global neuroscience company. I have a lot going on. My job is not to die trying to relax humanity. I'm not a martyr. So my goal is rescue every day because I want the longevity, the resilience, and the ability to stay alive to see this mission through. And it's purposeful, and I mean it. So rescue every day. My day starts around 5 and I exercise first. When I'm done exercising, I take a shower, I come into my office. Now, I come into my office, I love my office, I got a big monitor, and the first thing I do, because we're an international company, is I get all the international stuff, Indonesia and Australia, Vietnam, whatever. I put on, with a speaker, not headphones, I put on Ignite, 2 tracks of Ignite. Triumphant is my favorite, and it's the most popular Ignite track. Triumphant is our ode to Beethoven and Bach. It's not too aggressive. It doesn't amp me up too much, but I start my day with 25 minutes of Ignite as I'm going through my email. Then my wife does Wake Up with Jim Quick. It's 7 minutes that restructures the neuronal circuitry of your brain, and it changes the amygdala. We wake up as a human species, and the amygdala, our fear center, is the first thing that wakes up in your brain. I don't like that.
These are all with the headset. All with the headset.
No, I do speaker for Ignite.
Ignite. Okay.
With the headset, it'll be too much. It'll
Yeah.
be too amped. So,
Yeah.
like I said, isochronic waveform and binaural signal processing, you can do both. I know if I put a headphone on, I'd be running like at a high rate of speed around the neighborhood. So I don't use headphones for that. For Wake Up with Jim Quick, I use headphones. So for about 7.5 minutes, I'm literally reprogramming my mind and I'm getting intentional of how I want to command my day. I don't want to be reactive. I want to be in command of what's important to me. So that's how I start my day. Then I use focus. I put headphones on and I might use attention. It's a 60-minute focus track. Focus is magic. Focus takes you to 18.4 hertz. This is the learning zone. Comprehension, concentration, clarity, no distraction. You are in the zone. You lose sense of time and you are so efficient mentally. It's amazing. So focus is on my head a lot of times during the day. Get through that piece. Then in the afternoon, I may go get on the Peloton. The Peloton is a challenge for me. I'm 6 feet, 220 pounds with chicken legs. I probably shouldn't be on the Peloton. So if I'm going to be on the Peloton at 3, I guarantee you at 2:30, my brain starts coming up with all the reasons I shouldn't get on the Peloton and how busy I am. So I stopped listening to that, David.
Yeah.
I put on Ignite with headphones. It might be the Tony Robbins track. And before I know it, I'm in bike shorts and those weird shoes and I'm going to my Peloton. And when I get on the Peloton, I don't suffer the consequence of feeling lactic acid in my quads or starting to whine about, oh, I don't like this. I have Ignite on and I go berserkers. I work so freaking hard. My wife is convinced I'm going to have a heart attack in the Peloton. Fine. I'm doing it. After I'm done with Ignite and the Peloton and I'm sweating like crazy, I shower again and that's when I do my rescue. Afternoon rescue. I'll do rescue 20 VT, rescue 30 or rescue 40. I'll do it under a red light. I feel amazing. I feel restored. I feel put back together like Humpty Dumpty, and I'm ready to go. Now I've got part 2 of my day, and I've got as much energy and enthusiasm as I had for part 1. Before this experience for me, David, I fatigued like everybody did, and by 4 o'clock, I didn't want to be a part of the day, and I didn't want to take any more calls. So rescue is a big piece of it. Then at night, it's deep sleep. Deepest sleep, summer rain has been my jam since November 15, 2021. Every physics piece, every math to the deepest sleep tracks is identical. Every physics piece and all the math for Rescue 20 is identical to Rescue 20, Rescue 30 to Rescue 30, Flow State 20 to Flow State 20. The math is all the same, but your brain becomes profoundly more kind of entrained when you mix it up. So I even talked to the team today. I said, hey guys, if Sonic Essence is your jam, listen to it. But once a week, switch up the track and you will find you sleep even deeper. So at night for us at Sonic Essence, I have a Sonos speaker next to my ear. I played in a rock band in Boston for 17 years. I'm pretty sure I had some diminished hearing. So my wife's always like, can you turn that down? And I'm like, I love it. Volume is inconsequential, everybody. Volume in the bedroom of the physics of deepest sleep is inconsequential. This is bioresonance and modulation. It's vibration. So the volume is up to you. If you want it loud, have it loud. If you want it quiet, have it quiet. It does not matter. The isochronic waveform is doing its job on your brain. So let's do a quick review, David. There's 8 products on the Edge product. There is Deepest Sleep and Deep Sleep. Deepest Sleep and Deepest Sleep Plus. This demands a speaker, not a mobile phone speaker. Please, when you use this, just ask yourself a question. Can 3 gigabytes of math really come out of this little speaker? No. You're literally getting 10% of NuCalm using this as your speaker. Don't do it. Get a speaker in your bedroom, Bluetooth it or hardwire it. We hardwire our stuff. Put on Deepest Sleep or Deepest Sleep Plus and sleep like a baby. All the other tracks, all the other products demand a headphone. And Rescue, Power Nap, and Flow State demand an eye mask. Why? We are visually stimulated by light. 80% of your cerebral cortex is your visual cortex. Most of the information you get from your senses, it's coming through your eyes. You don't sleep with your eyes open. You don't meditate and relax with your eyes open. You must have an eye mask because your brain cannot get to 4 hertz with your eyes open. These are musts. These are requirements for the technology to balance your nervous system. Otherwise, you're not getting there. You're getting in the vicinity, David. You might get to 7 hertz. You might get to 8 hertz, but you're not getting to 4 hertz. And if you don't get to 4 hertz, you're not getting the cellular restoration and the healing that your body needs, you need, and you deserve. So headphone for 6 of the products, speaker for 2 of them, the sleep products. Took us 9 years to invent deep sleep. 9 years, because we didn't want you to wear a headphone. And then the eye mask for Rescue, Power Nap, and Flow State. This combination is going to leave you feeling amazing, right? You never get up from Rescue and don't feel amazing. Power Nap, you're going to feel like, wow, I'm ready to go. Flow State, I feel creative. Focus, I'm getting so much done. Yeah. Ignite, I'm running at a high rate of speed and I'm lifting more. Deepest Sleep, I'm going to sleep. I'm sleeping. When I get up to pee in the night, I'm falling back asleep. I'm waking up in the morning and I feel like I slept. That cumulative benefit will change your life and leave you with a long life, because I just did a lecture in Singapore and the doctor asked me, Jim, what's the key to longevity? And I said, sir, it's 3 things: oxygen, mitochondria, and sleep. If you do all these things well, you will live a very long, happy, healthy life.
Jim, anything to leave everybody with?
Yes.
Little advice?
I am thrilled that David introduced me to Stu and the team. I am thrilled because our neuroscience company has spent 32 of 36 years being scientists, figuring out the brain. We mapped the entirety of the brain. From 2009 to 2021, it is true, we were one product, Rescue. Took everybody to 4 hertz. But taking the mathematics, we were able to manipulate the outcome. 0.5 hertz is Deepest Sleep and Deepest Sleep Plus. 4 hertz is Rescue and Power Nap. 7.83 hertz, the intersection of alpha and theta, is Flow State. 18.4 hertz is Focus. 40 hertz is Priming. And 41 hertz is Ignite. We did this, but we've never had a sales team. We've never had a marketing budget. So how have we sold $37 million of a 4-component, $6,000 FDA Class 3 medical device to FedEx Pilots Union, the DOD, the DOJ, 78 professional sports teams, thousands of doctors, because the product is a game changer. And you guys have exclusive rights and access in any network marketing aspect in the world. You are our partner, and we are entrusting you with the best product in the world. And here's how good this is. This is math and physics, you guys. This doesn't discriminate or discern its audience, from in utero to 100 years old, from Africa to China, from male to female, from disease to healthy. It doesn't matter. Math and physics. We're not seeking any information from your brain. This isn't neurobiofeedback. We're directing your brain to a frequency outcome we know is associated with that frequency. You want to sleep? 0.5 hertz. You want to restore? 4 hertz. So this is such an exciting opportunity for us. David's been a very patient man, very patient. He has found a true partner. He knows the integrity, the honor, and nobility of who we are. We do the right thing when no one's looking. You'll never see us do otherwise. But we're in a place where we can help so many people. The profound testimonials that you're going to get from friends and family, from people in your network, are going to blow your mind. And it's never going to get old. And some of them are going to seem magical, whether it's a woman with flesh-eating bacteria leaving the hospital 2 days after they said they were going to amputate her leg in Canada, whether it's a woman 4 months in a coma, leaves the hospital a week later, and the doctor's like, how'd you do this? We reduced the cerebral spinal fluid in her brain. We reduced the stress in her brain and the inflammation. It's not rocket science. The body knows how to heal. So we are so excited for you to be our professional, noble, and honorable people in the field, sharing with the world, hey, would you like to have access to what used to be a $6,000 FDA Class 3 medical device and used to be exclusively available only to Navy SEALs, Special Forces, the FBI Hostage Rescue Team, 78 professional sports teams, the FedEx Pilots Union, thousands of doctors and cancer patients, now in a mobile app. Would you like that? I suspect no one's going to say no, because we're going to help you with your sleep, and we're going to help you modulate the frequency of your brain. It is amazing. It sounds too good to be true, but David knows this. It's even better than it sounds.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim. That's absolutely amazing. And as I said on a post this afternoon to get everybody on time here to hear the beginning, is we didn't just launch a new product. We're changing an industry, and the people who benefit the most are every one of our customers. So thank you very much for giving us your time tonight. I want to say thank you, everybody. Understand what you have, recognize where it can go, and build the future of your dreams. It's right here at xocialx. So thank you. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you very much for giving us your time tonight. I want to say thank you very much for giving us your time tonight. I want to say thank you.